What happened to your colleagues, mates? Are they stuck at the bar?
Drinking.
Yeah, sure. Here we go.
Tons of volunteers. I love it.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry, of course you were. You were furiously tweeting.
Are we good with this with the screen, Tony? Yeah. All right, perfect.
There we go. I don't know if we're going to get to all of them.
I don't know what happened.
Who's here?
Answer the question.
All right.
This is list number 2.
All right. Once again.
Are we missing some? Where's Patrick?
I think he went to the bathroom. I think he'll be.
Okay, so
Back
once again,
momentarily.
David Dufresne from Bandzoogle, Michael Schneider from Bandpage, Benji Rogers from Pledge Music, and Greg Lucas from Creative Allies. Take it away, boys.
Thank you, Scott. So, guys, this is the non-panel of the panels. There's very little structure to what we'll do. You're part of the panel and jury, so anytime you have something to say, raise your hand or just start yelling in directions of the mics. But the goal is simply to look at some of your websites. And I mean, we all do this for a living in different ways. So we'll tell you exactly what we think of the website, and we can talk about how your website fits into your broader online strategy. Yeah. And but maybe just quickly reintroduce ourselves, but mostly like what's your relationship with websites? I'm David, CEO of Bandzoogle. We're the most powerful band website platform. You guys can check out our website if you want to know what we do. Michael, how does Bandpage deal with websites?
Bandpage has a couple different tools, widgets that you can put on your website, Facebook, a blog, and then also a website solution itself. And then we also have integrations to pull in Bandpage data to other site platform providers or other platforms themselves, like WordPress, Pledge Music, etc.
Is the new experience thing, is it going to be something that bands can put on their website as well?
We are building that right now.
Awesome.
So it just launched in beta, and so you can see it at bandpage.com/fans. See all the different experience offerings there that the beta artists have up, and some have already sold out, so get there quick if you want to buy something really crazy and awesome and fun. And soon we'll have that ability to integrate that into your site.
Benji, when are you going to get integrated with Bandzoogle?
As soon as you allow me to. I've been using this guy's platform for 100 years at least, and I'm dying to do it. A lot of our artists have Bandzoogle websites as well, so there's been a good crossover there.
Yeah, because you have widgets that are super easy to embed into any website, whatever the platform you're using.
Well, one of the things that when an artist like Mike Doty or Joseph Arthur is running a pledge campaign, it's pretty much the most important thing they want to share with their fans at that time, and so being able to do so is a really important thing. And obviously, if the band's website is a Bandzoogle website, you definitely want to be able to kind of see and share that.
So if I go to Joseph's website, there's a good chance I'll see his.
Let's hope.
His pledge widget.
A good chance, but maybe not a great one. He hasn't done it.
He's got one of those blog websites. We'll talk about that.
Oh,
there it is. It's
there
the main.
it is.
It's actually the main call to action. That's great. Wonderful. Well done, Joseph. Well done. Greg.
Yes.
Very quickly, Creative Allies. How does that tie into a band's website or an artist's website?
Yeah, so we host design contests. If you click the design contest button at top, you can see our current opportunities for our 42,000 member design community to work with bands they love. And also fans get the opportunity to vote on the designs they like and ultimately get them as merchandise. So every contest gets 3 to 4 million impressions from sharing of these designs through social media. And ultimately, we're a way for bands and fans to connect around artwork.
I'm voting for the deer. Willie. And Patrick, Nimbit, you mentioned in the you mentioned in the earlier panel how Nimbit can integrate with websites.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's pick. I don't know. Click the picture that's in the middle now. No, the next one over.
These guys?
Yeah. So this is Vertical Horizon. They're a band that's on the platform. I'll show you.
And on Pledge.
And Pledge, yes, exactly. And they have a Nimbit store on their Pledge page as well. So on the Facebook page, you'll see this is their Nimbit store, and it's got their music, and this is their feature page. But they have merchandise and apparently hats. If you go back to
And if I go to their band website, do they use Nimbit on their website as well?
if you click shop, I believe they have our store. I'm not positive. Yep. So again,
Yeah.
it's the same backend, but you're able to publish a store directly on Facebook, directly on the website, and you've got music, merch, in this case hats, and probably some bundles. If you click on those different categories above, you'll get to see something there. Yeah.
Super cool. All right, so when we, well, let me go back here.
I wanted you to just put something in the cart, like put the digital album in the cart for a minute. Just click on the buy button, so people
This?
can see the other thing we talked about. You see the
Oh, yeah, that's
contribute,
what you mentioned.
add funds, so you can slide it all the way up to, I think, in this case they set their max at 100, but the heart grows, I guess. There you go.
Sure.
Yeah. We were gonna do unicorns, but somebody voted that down.
Do you mind if we steal that for Bandzoogle?
Go right ahead.
So,
Ditto.
website demolition derby. Let's get started. We're going to look at three main things when we look at a website. The first thing we look at is the design of the website. And very simply, it doesn't need to win design prizes. It needs to feel modern. It needs to feel cohesive, meaning there's not 4 different fonts and 80 different colors. And I guess it needs to fit with the artist's brand, generally speaking. So I guess we'll see some examples of some good and some bad examples of that in action. The second thing we look at is site organization. And basically what are the pages that are on the site? Is the menu easy to navigate? Does each page have a specific function? Is it clear what I will find on each page and finding like what I'm looking for? And the third thing is content. We talked about content a lot in the earlier panel, where there needs to be a good mix of informational and more static content, but also have a website that is very dynamic, feels personal, and not just press releasey. So that's the goal. Keeping in mind that your website's audience is mainly 3 different people. Your website needs to work for the potential fan. That's the fan you don't have yet. Somehow they made their way to their website. It could be because a friend mentioned them, they heard something about you on the radio, or you're opening for a band they really like, and they're trying to figure out if they should show up early. Your site needs to work for them. It also needs, and your homepage is going to be extremely important for those guys. It needs to work for your fans. The fans are the ones that are coming back to your website every week. They're the people that have bought, like either some of your albums, gone to your shows. They might be some just casual fans, or they might be super fans, extremely loyals, and there's a good chance they're the guys that are ready to buy something and transact with you. And third, it needs to work for industry in media. It needs to work for festival bookers. It needs to work for label people. It needs to work for journalists, for bloggers. So it's hard because the website needs to have a little bit of everything and have these 3 audiences in mind at all the time. We'll try to explain how to do and not do that. Without further ado, let's get started. We have a list of about 10. And this.
And on the back.
All right, so we'll have to be quick. So I'm gonna just type in is Terry still in the room? We could do Terry as well. His website has some good thing, but one of the good things I saw in his website is the call to action is very clear. There's a new single. It's part of the header image. That's the first thing you see, and having a strong call to action, 1, maybe 2, but not more than 2, is an important part of the homepage. But first, let's get started with this website. All right. Where are you? Raise your hand. So, first impression?
I would say that there's one adage in web infrastructure, and that is every click someone has to do to get to content loses 50% of the audience. So my immediate reaction is just by having them have to click the splash image is going to unfortunately cut the amount of traffic that ultimately gets to the deeper engagement. That's my just very first. But the picture's really cool and tells the story.
I agree with Greg, and there are other reasons. It's one extra click, and it's nice the first time I come to your website, but the second time I come to your website, it's become annoying. Just because it's one extra click.
It's something you have to move out of the way rather than...
Yeah, splash pages, and also there's other stuff. It doesn't help with your Google ranking, for example, because Google, since there's very little content, very little text content on that page, it doesn't rank as high in Google as if you had a lot of text on your homepage.
And also, if you look, you're having to click on the picture to enter the website. So the first thing you're thinking is, what do I do with this? I'm going to have to go up there, when you can actually just click on the picture directly. Or more to the point, shouldn't you be able to see everything in one fill?
I would tell you that splash pages can be useful for a short period of time if you have a very strong call to action. Like, for example, if the album just came out, and that's the main thing that's happening in your career right now, having a splash page for a month that says new album out, click here to buy it, or like click here to stream the video for the first single, that can be the exception. But otherwise, and once that month is over, like remove it and send people straight to your homepage. Okay, so a quick tour, like homepage, the header image is logo and photos of the band, discography, gallery, concerts, merchandise. Excellent. So that's the same photo. Music samples. A bit of news, I guess, the latest news. It scrolls for quite a bit. I'm personally not a fan of these websites, and often it's when people use blogging platforms, either Blogger or WordPress, to build a website, where the homepage ends up being a blog more than an actual website.
The other thing I say is that the longer it goes, the more you have to flick your thumb down on a phone endlessly as well to get to that bottom part. And splash pages can be really annoying on phones too.
Generally speaking, what I don't need to scroll for is called above the fold. It's something that comes from newspaper, like whatever the biggest news you could read before you unfold the newspaper. It's the same for a website. So there's a good chance that what you have at the bottom, like here, it might be extremely important for me, but there's a good chance I won't scroll all far down for that. So a good rule of thumb is to, on the homepage, keep your main call to action. It's really good to have a song or a video there, at least a sample for someone that doesn't know you, but only keep the latest 2, maybe 3 latest pieces in news on the homepage, and then have a news page or a blog page where.
And as far as a player goes, you can also have the player at the bottom of the screen at all times, or you can put it in the immediate listen to bit.
Your player is Flash.
That's what I was going to say.
So it won't work on iPhones, iPads, iPods. So you should definitely move away from Flash or try to find a player that is non-Flash using HTML5 or something similar. Because you're blocking probably half of your visitors, maybe not half, but a good third of your visitors from actually listening to your music.
And I was going to note that it's also probably not super easy to find that player, making it there's a lot of open space on either side that would be, or at the bottom, like Benji said, having your player accessible so the first thing that they can do is actually hear the music is really great.
The one cool thing that MySpace in its new iteration did was put that player in the right place so that you could, it's not like, it used to be on the right-hand side there. Bandzoogle has them across the bottom if you want them, or else you can put them in different places. But it's I wouldn't get to the player at that point.
Click on the merchandise, see what they have for stock.
Yeah. But otherwise, your design is okay, but it's very narrow. So it was definitely a website that was made back when people had 800 by 600 monitors, and it probably looks good on a mobile just because it's that narrow. But nowadays, you can make designs that are more that adapt to the screen size. Where because like all these bars on the side, it's all real estate that you're losing. Your pictures could be bigger if you have videos; they could be bigger. Your merch items could be bigger. So it could be a good idea to tweak your design, find something that is wider. All right.
Are there any pictures of the actual merchandise? Oh, there we go. You got again below the fold.
Yeah.
How do you buy them? How does it happen?
PayPal. Looks like PayPal.
Yeah, the store feels a little bit disjointed. Like, I don't know. So there's stacks here.
First of all,
t-shirt
there's no
inquiries.
pictures of something you could buy above the fold, right? So you want to at least tease people with an image of the product, whether it's a song or merch, or you want them to have something visually to engage with, and then you want to give them a streamlined way to put stuff into a cart and not make them go to 3 different places to get 3 different kinds of product. And these, it looks like each one would be a separate transaction, right? Or no, you
Well,
can
the
add to
button
cart.
says
Yeah,
add to cart. Let's try. I'm gonna add to cart. Then it opens. Like just the fact that I'm opening a new window, a new tab,
Right, so you gotta
kind of drove me
over.
away from your website and from your store. So maybe I can continue shopping, but it'd be great to have a cart that is integrated into your website, so that I'm still in your store. So it's like if you went clothes shopping, you enter the shop, you pick a T-shirt, you want to buy it, you have to leave the store and then come back again if you want matching jeans, you know.
Yeah. One of the things as well, I just loaded it up on mobile. You can't see it, but it maintains the narrowness in mobile when it loads, and when you push it to the side, you literally don't know that there's a store under there. There's no buttons available to you beneath that. So one of the things you want to think about is when you're on the page, you'll either zoom in, which is great, but then you're losing everything below that. Or if you go to the side, you've got to have in that main box moment something to do in action at that point. Otherwise, you're going to make it bigger, or you got to scroll all the way, and then of course it's not showing up in Flash, so it's just a big empty box.
Your bio page is good. It's great to have a professional image that people can download in high resolution. Journalists and bloggers especially love that, and then promoters, if they need to make a quick poster or something, they can use that. So that's a really good idea. Your bio is pretty long, and that's a good thing. It means, I mean, you've been doing this for a while, have a good career, but you should also have a short version of it. Have a 1 or 2 paragraph version of it, something that a lazy blogger, for example, can just copy paste into a blog post they're doing about you, or a review they're writing. So give them something also short. It's something that you can also use on the
It's
on
less
the
for them to get
homepage.
wrong too.
Oh, something I don't like, I just realized that, but your menu has all the main pages, but there's no home button. Like, have something that brings people back to the homepage. A lot of people like to browse like that. They'll go visit a page, then come back to home, and then go visit another page. Like right now, like unless I use my back button for a few clicks, I have no way to coming back to that. I guess we'll jump to another website. I think a lot of the things we've said about your website probably apply to a lot of you guys' websites and vice versa. So since we have a good number, we'll
Can I ask a question
get going.
too? Just
Yeah.
what's the current thinking on the infinite scrolling websites that just keep on going down and down and down and down?
Like, my thinking is that a musician's website or an artist's website should have a blog,
Yeah.
but it should not be a blog.
Yeah.
So I like a short homepage that cuts to the point, has a strong call to action, a sample of the music, maybe the latest piece of news, a mailing list sign-up widget, but then save the heavy blog content for a blog page.
Because just the reason I asked that, and I don't know if anyone's got any feedback, but we've recently worked with 2 major label bands, and they've both gone for that very stylized, infinite scrolling down thing. And I never know where anything is, because my first impulse isn't to scroll down to the bottom to find it. It should be right there. It's a beautiful image, and it's very stylized now, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing there. So that's the reason any feedback would be.
It's the same. You want something very clear and actionable right there. You don't have to
Designers
dig
really want
for
to
it.
design beautiful things, and they should, but at the same time, it's got to get you there.
There's a great book that anyone can read, even if you're not a web designer. It's called Don't Make Me Think. It's
Yeah.
basically, that is the essence of why you'd build a website and how.
And there's a lot of design trends that are like fashion. There might be a good idea and they look good for a few months. Like right now, there's a big trend towards slideshow headers and putting slideshows everywhere on a website.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it feels counterintuitive, because if I'm on your website, I want, like, the internet generally gives fans control over where they go and where they click. If you're forcing me to watch a slideshow to read about your latest news. It doesn't make any sense. So like whenever you try to tweak something, change something, ask yourself, does it make sense for what my goal is with this website? The Wee Trio, are you in the room? All right, hiding in the back. Yeah, you guys have a
This covers everything in one snapshot.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the SoundCloud player on the right, just to make note of it, is HTML5, so it does work with iPhone and iPad.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. Actually,
It's really.
That's good.
this is. I wish we could demolish it, but this is a really good homepage.
Yeah, agreed.
I think the header image is great. It gives a good sense of. I've never heard your music, but I get a good sense of what your art is about, your brand is about. If I actually want to listen to Queen Bitch, it's right here. And I have instantly a sample of your song, and I can figure out very quickly if I'm gonna like it or not, right? I'm probably gonna like it. That sounds great. Maybe I can leave it as a background music.
One thing to note too with the player, the fact that it's HTML5 compatible, both SoundCloud and our player. When you're playing it on your phone, it'll actually play like the iPod plays, so you can keep that on and going. So you can just have the songs going in the background. That's a great player to have on there.
Yeah.
And there's a buy button
Yep.
for
There's a
that
buy
track,
button.
which is great.
I guess this is your main call to action. There's a new album coming in September. That's great, but what maybe is missing is like have a mailing list sign up widget. I know it's further down, but have it there. Like sign up for the mailing list to get an email when it's released or something.
Or
like
a
make
pledge
people-
button.
Yeah, or you can do,
I could buy it now. Yeah.
or you can have people sign up to make sure you can email them when it's out and they can buy it then.
Just to that point, I think anytime you put up news, it's not really relevant without a call to action of some sort or a way to engage or share.
That's Reverb Nation widget. Yeah.
As an example of that, there was I tell this story a lot, but when we worked with Ben Folds 5, there was a tweet he did which said, "It's happening for sure in the studio day one," and with a picture. And there was nothing that I could do with that picture other than I could like it, I could share it, but there was nothing to do. And I remember saying to his manager, "I see you in the studio. Let me buy the record now, and have it show up." So, if you're telling people that you're doing something, you've also got to let them, as you quite rightly point out, get involved. How can they do that? Can they pre-order it today? Can they be a part of it? Whatever it is. So. It's the core of the business that we run a pledge, but honestly, if you're doing something and I can't be a part of it, then I just can't be a part of it. So that's one thing to really think about.
You're a little bit guilty of having also the blog be on the homepage. I mean, I think since it's pretty new, you don't have a lot of entries in there, so that's fine. But if you keep adding, like I said earlier, I would keep the last 2 or 3 entries on the homepage, and then have the bulk of the entries on other blogs. Having your main links here is good. iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, that's the main ones. I found one thing I don't like about your website, and it's actually pretty major. It's probably because of the theme you're using, but your sidebar gets repeated on each page. And it's the same 2 things, the SoundCloud and the Reverb Nation tour widget. That's fine in itself, but it kind of forces your content then in a narrower column. So you're losing a lot of real estate just by having that sidebar that's always there. I think if people want to listen to the music, they can do that on the homepage. You can do it on the music page. Yeah, obviously you have one. That's good. So I would get rid of the sidebar for the other sections, because if I go to your videos,
You want to see them full
I
screen.
want to see them much wider than that, and I assume, the sidebar is not loading. Okay, so that's good.
One more point on the sidebar: your mailing list widget isn't rendering on my mobile phone, so I'm wondering if is it Flash?
It's probably Flash. Let's go back to the homepage.
Yeah, it looks like
it's
Flash.
loading.
So to know if something is Flash, just go on it, right-click, and if you see something saying about Adobe Flash Player, blah blah blah, That means whatever widget you're using is Flash, and so you should
Apple
find
doesn't like
it.
Flash.
The main providers, like I know Reverb Nation, definitely you guys
Topspin.
don't do any Flash anymore.
Yep.
Most of them have moved on to different widgets. They're HTML5, so there's a good chance you can go back to Reverb, change the widget, paste a new one, and you'll be fine. But otherwise, I want to see the music page. See again, you remove the sidebar from those pages, the music and video page, but you're not using that space. So again, it's probably the theme you're using that's forcing you into that. But it looks a little weird having the big header image centered, but then the player only on the left. And when you use different players and widgets, like your design is great. Like it's dark gray and white on dark background, and then you use a bright white and orange widget that kind of breaks your design a little bit. So there are probably ways with SoundCloud to tweak the colors of the players to use something that fits better. I mean, the Reverb Nation widgets are okay in your case because they have the same kind of color schemes, but this looks a little bit out of place. You guys agree?
Yeah.
Yep.
Good though.
But it's there.
That's good.
Yeah.
Let's move on. But that's a really good start for a website. And your music sounds good. Saturni.com. All right.
My first glance is that instead of emphasizing the Facebook like, emphasize the mailing list. And part of the reason for that, we discussed it a little bit in the other panel and usually discuss it quite a bit more extensively, is your mailing list, you're always going to own those contacts. You're going to always have the ability to push whatever it is, to communicate with them. And a Facebook like, while it's a great thing, it's a good metric, Facebook changes its system a lot. And if you're going to get one thing from that fan, they land on that the first time, the best thing to get is an email.
Yeah.
The main problem I have with the homepage is I have no idea what this is. Like, I know, is it, like, raise your hand, where are you? Okay.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Well, you probably need like at least a one-liner explaining what the Saturni, I'm pronouncing it right? Saturni, what it is. Because at first I thought it must be a band, and well, obviously we're, but yeah, definitely. And like I like to show this example of this guy. He's one of our members. Like, well, she's also a good example. Just singer-songwriter in their picture. You know exactly which like singer-songwriter, piano man. Like having as part of the header image a quick one line about who you are. And
You can't see, but the player is actually down on the left-hand side behind us, so it's always present on the page.
it's always there, yeah. I should just do this. Anyways. So, and having, like that's a mailing contact form. Having, huh?
It's a blog post.
It's a blog post widget.
Blog post form.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. So it's a guest book basically. To me, it feels a little strange to have that on a homepage. You could have it as part of your website, but have that on, especially since the last comment you got was in April 2nd, 2012. So it's definitely not something that's used a lot. Like a lot of guest books were pretty cool late 90s, early 2000s, but now a lot of that action has moved to Facebook, and it's fine. Like if you have one and you find that people use it, keep it. But if you've been more than a year without a comment, it kind of feels your website. It feels stale, and people are like, is he retired, or So like whenever we said earlier, content needs to be dynamic, and having that on a homepage doesn't make you look really good.
There are two things that I wanted to click on when I first saw this page: the play button on the video and the thing that says warning.
Warning.
So click on that. What
Let's
is
click
that?
on it.
Okay.
See, maybe a short version of that could be on the homepage. Having a big video, like generally speaking, like you guys had the SoundCloud player and you had the Flash player here. Having a video is pretty good, especially if you have good videos, professionally shot. That's really good as a first introduction to the band or to the artist, because you're grabbing my attention both with my ears and my eyes. Whereas if I'm just listening to your SoundCloud track, maybe I'll go back to my emails or go back to my Facebook or like look at my mobile and do something else. So if you guys have good videos, having your best video straight on the homepage is a good idea. One thing that might be missing, like I don't know, are you selling the books? Are you?
Yeah, it's down on the right.
Well, okay, so you kind of hide it in the right hand, like make it more obvious, like have a store or buy or so, and
Yeah.
that's true for bands as well. Like make it super clear how people, if people are willing to separate themselves from some of their hard-earned dollars, make it as easy as possible for them to do that.
I think also, I know, just for me personally, having all those things up at the very top is not something I naturally gravitate towards. One of the things I like about the others is you could see call to actions across the kind of the main where your eye hits page. I was like, okay, where's the store? And the first thing I would do is look up or down to try and figure out where it is, whereas it should be that central moment. And also, if the video is kind of, I would have centralized the video personally.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's the same thing as the guys earlier using like a sidebar theme. So
Yeah.
this is all what there's always there that kind of forces you into this this narrower, and then as soon as I scroll down, your actual content gets pushed to the left, which doesn't really make sense. Let's jump to the next one on our little list. Sorry, I can't type today.
pressure typing.
Is that it?
.net.
Oh, .net, sorry. That's a little better. There's a piece of image pie for everyone. Again, I don't know. I don't know. Are you a band? Are you a? Okay, so you're like all-encompassing business. Production. So that's kind of a splash page. I guess it's a splash page with a menu. So again, you're kind of forcing. I guess in your case, it might make sense if you're sending me to a whole different site. And then if I click audio, and then words. And the fact that you have kind of two different menus.
Yeah, just to be clear, I still don't quite understand what it does. And there's often like a tagline that you will kind of put into everything. All of our companies kind of have them. I'm working on ours right now with the team very carefully. There's a book called The Art of Explanation by a guy named Lee Lefevre, which I recommend everyone picking up. Because if you want to sum up what you do very quickly, it's finding ways to say that in as few words as possible. And so what you want to do is saying there's a piece of image pie. Don't look at mine, it's awful.
Hands-on, direct to fan. Ours is band, the most powerful band website platform, and then our tagline is band websites that work. And then our call to action is very clear. Try it free. So,
and it's so important that the second you land on the environment, you go, I know what this is, I know what it's doing. You will have been brought there in some way, shape, or form, but if you're doing a business, I've got to know immediately what I'm there for. Almost too stylized, I think, is kind of the immediate thing.
And having two different menus, I don't think is a good idea. I would bring that back. If you guys have three separate lines of business, I would bring that back into the main menu, either as their own pages or as sub-menu items. Yeah, I see a lot of artists that have the same issue when they're a solo act, but they also have a band, and they maybe give lessons, or they also run a studio. Like I think, it depends if you think people are going to come to you guys for all these three things, it might make sense to have one website. But if the three businesses are very separate, then you should have three very different websites.
I mean,
yeah, okay.
but
Okay, so that should be on your homepage, what you just said,
Yeah.
in some way. Like,
To me, it would be real simple. You just put Image Pie Creative Services. There's a piece for everyone. All of a sudden, I know that you're a creative services company, and then all the other buttons make sense. But again, I understood it in a second. We all kind of went, got it now.
yeah.
You know.
Yep. All right, let's go to Mellow. How much
So,
time do
yeah.
we have?
I don't think that is it, though. Right there, the first one.
There we go. That's it? Where are you?
I think we have.
All right.
Okay.
Something's not loading. Strange. Is that an ad? What's supposed to be here? Not sure.
It's transparent.
Let's try and reload.
There's something.
But that's definitely prime real estate. So if
So is the left part.
it sends you to, I guess,
Videos.
a music.
What
page.
platform did you use to build this? Is it WordPress? I didn't build it. Okay.
So, can you change it? If you didn't, can you update it and? Okay, so that's that. Yeah, I think generally speaking, in 2013, you should have control over your own website.
Absolutely.
Like whether like at the very basic, you should be able to update it yourself. If you have a new song, a new photo, a new tour date, and ideally you should be able to tweak it yourself, add a new page, change the design a little bit. Okay, so let's look at the website. Basically, there's something here that's wrong. So get whoever is doing a website to fix that. Home, biography, meet the band, media, videos, pictures, contact. The homepage is, to me, feels a little cluttered. There's a lot of boxes, so I'm not sure what the main call to action is. And then it feels a little disjointed. Like this gallery here is pushed all the way down, I assume, because this is all like a blog feature. I'm not sure. Like, what you know?
It's very noisy.
You know, it's an advert on the top right, because when
Yeah.
you load it on mobile, it just says the word advert, but it's empty.
That's a WordPress theme that you use. So that theme that your guy is using is kind of forcing you into these little boxes where you can't really, you have no control about it. Like your content needs to fit in there, and it makes for, because there's good design elements in there, but it feels like it
It's
feels a little
very
bit
noisy.
like when you walk into a Walmart and you see all these.
Yeah.
There's like thousands of signs and you don't know where to go. Where you have to think you want your website to be not a Walmart but a nice designer boutique where you walk in and everything is clearly laid out and someone like some cute shopping assistant smiles at you and you know instantly what's on sale and what's not and. That, like right now, I'm not sure what you want me to do with this website.
And also on mobile, it's literally almost unusable. You can't see where you're going on it. It's a huge long listy scroll thing.
You want to comment on just the thinking around dark colors and dark backgrounds in certain types of genres? It's typical to have like a black background with white text, but you have to be very careful with that because it doesn't show up as well on phones. So your color scheme is actually very dark here.
Yeah.
That's something to consider.
I would also just mention that in a lot of the kind of stock WordPress type themes, there are features that are, in a sense, in front of a background layer. And a lot of times when that background layer shifts or scrolls or rotates, it does leave the viewer trying to figure out where they were, because it's like the background behind what anchors those widgets or features. When it changes, it gets much harder to, I think, intuitively navigate.
Yeah.
Not to say you can't do it, but
One of the interesting
it's
things
harder.
We do a Twitter, when you're skinning the back of what your Twitter page looks like, they limit the options around their kind of core piece so that it doesn't ever crowd into it. So the image is bleeding into underneath it almost all over there. Twitter would basically lock it all into one grid and allow you to customize the outside to that look, but you wouldn't be able to mess with what's inside it. And that's a very deliberate thing in design, so that you can always, anchor it. We allow what we call watermarks on pledge pages, where you can play with all the side elements to it, but you can't mess with with that middle piece, because that's the call to action. We look at it as video. You can see what's going on. Why should you get involved? And here are the ways down the right-hand side with a player on the left. So all of it's immediately in that one screen section.
Definitely you need to simplify the homepage, because there's navigation here, there's navigation here. I'm supposed to watch this, and then the background keeps loading. And those actually, like the background images, it looks like really good pictures, but I can't actually see them because there's so much content in front of them. And then it's kind of all over the place. Band practice. I would simplify the homepage, take a lot of that great content and put it on their own pages so people can go and browse it in a much more simpler fashion. Yeah. Your bio page is kind of better because you kind of simplified it, and it's just a bio and a good photo. Again, I would make that photo downloadable in high resolution though, so people can actually use it. But then the fact that you have the sidebar and then the footer here with all this content, again, it just clutters the page and might distract from what you're actually
trying to do. The interesting thing is it feels like you're doing tons and tons of things, which is great if you already know you and you want to dive through. But what you want is for the immediate person, like we don't know. So all of a sudden we're like, okay, just give me a snapshot so I know what I'm looking at, why, and how I can get involved. That was my first instinct.
And lastly, and again, like earlier, you're kind of stuck in that column because of your sidebar. But I also don't see I don't see a store. I don't see a buy link. I don't see a mailing list sign up form. So I understand it's probably a band that's just getting started, or we're not selling. Yeah, okay. But you should be acquiring emails. If you have good content, if the guys are playing shows, there should be a way for you to start acquiring a contact list so that when you have something to sell, you'll be able to reach those people. All right, one more. Okay, let's do one more. We have like 6 left. We'll auction the last one.
Donate to
free bloody. All right, Lynn Drury. You win. Or maybe not. We'll see. But everyone that we don't have...
Is that her tagline?
Yeah.
Lynn Drury, she doesn't suck.
Everyone that we don't have time, like everyone, you can email me, david@bandzoogle.com if we didn't have time, and I'll do it over email. Or you can catch me this afternoon or tomorrow. I'll be at the Jazz Fest, probably hanging out in the lounge place. Yeah, for sure. Awesome. I'll bring my laptop.
There's
then.
beer there.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah,
you're right
I like
over
the
there.
tagline a lot.
Lynn Drury, the official website.
Mississippi girl.
Unless you have a tons of fan-made like fan sites, you can probably remove that. I hope it's a problem for you where you have all these fans making tons of websites on your behalf.
I've made a fan site. I did. I made 3 fan sites
Yeah?
for you because you don't suck.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's an image,
It's
so
an
you
image,
need
yeah.
to change the image, or
Yeah.
get your graphics designer to change it. Okay. Well, you have control over it, so that's really good. Mississippi Girl, New Orleans Groove, so that's perfect. That's
really
a
good,
really good
yeah.
tagline. The player is further down, like below the fold. If you have a good video, I would like the video up here. Because this is like just a piece of news, kind of random. Maybe it works for the fan you already have, but for a new fan or potential fan, it's like, all right, she got a review in Offbeat Mag, but like that, I think you can push further down the page. have a song up there, like a big play button on a video, or at least a media player. But then latest news, big call
yeah,
to action.
I'm a big fan of the mailing list bit there.
Yep.
And it's not the Flash widget, so that's great. Twitter feed, really good.
Brilliant.
Twitter changed their. If you guys have Twitter feeds on your websites, go check today if it still works, because recently Twitter changed the way people have to log in. So there's a good chance it's not working. You just need to go back to Twitter and grab different code to bring it back on your website.
Player works on.
Player works, that's great. You have a lot of content. Again, maybe some of that content belongs on different pages and not the homepage, because no one's going to browse and watch all 3 pages of it. So, like your blog is on your homepage where it should be on your blog page, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, and I don't know anyone at WordPress, but I don't think that for band-oriented web pages, a standard blog style or Tumblr style interface is the right way to go, because bands combine visual media, audio, calls to action, community, and so the panel represents an array of different off-the-shelf solutions specifically for music-related businesses. So I'd really recommend kind of moving away from the standard WordPress blog or Tumblr blog if you're a band, and towards one of these more band-specific platforms that these guys all have.
I just checked to see, because you're a musician here. I wondered if you were playing, and so I went to look at the tour dates, and that widget looks really cool. The problem that I had with it is I clicked one of the dates, and it took me out to another site, and then that site, before I could even look at the details, asked me to log in with my Facebook, and a pop-up came up. So the information is there, that's great, but if I wanted to actually get more information and get tickets, it would have been a bad user experience for me. And as we said earlier, it's 50% per click, I think it is. Each time I was less and less inclined to and it's not that I'm less inclined to want to see you play, it's that am I going to spend my time right now figuring it out?
And just one quick thing, the font that you're using for Mississippi Grit, New Orleans Groove, I couldn't read it on mobile, and I was having trouble up there because it really is a little, I would darken that so you can definitely see it and make it in a bit bolder of a font. Lastly, on the number of clicks, the worst I've ever seen was 19 clicks to get to the buy. So if you can imagine, 50% each time you get to this moment at the very end so try and get as few of those as possible to the actual information that you want.
Is it
and then
Reverb Nation?
you have to
Is that-
log
yeah.
in, and that's an issue.
Yeah.
Right. So the Reverb Nation login process for a fan to get information about the date loses that fan.
Just so you know, I would never do it because it's just one of those things where I'm like, oh, no, that's me out right there.
And going back to the music page, and I know that bands have different philosophies about this, but I would say just capturing that fan for the long term is what the ultimate purpose of the site is. So allowing the fan to immediately play and stream, not necessarily buy or not necessarily download, but being able to stream at least one track from each album immediately, especially on mobile, is essential, or you're just gonna lose that possibility to grab the fan.
Try the store, David.
The store.
Does it load? Okay.
Okay, so the store is just a merch.
So there's
Is
no
that it?
music for sale.
So the music for sale, I have to go to music and then click on an album, and then it sends me to Louisiana Music Factory where I can.
So again,
are you
the more
selling
clicks,
digital tracks as well, or just the CDs? How? Why are you hiding that from us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't find it.
Yes.
Let us pay you for not sucking. Yeah.
No, that's
Well, that's an issue with a lot of.
That's what we're here to help you with, though. That's the point. So,
Well, that's an issue I see often when people use blogging platforms to build their artist website. Like those are extremely flexible, and if you know what you're doing or you have a developer that you're paying, you can make really good artist websites. But the kind of the default templates are made for blogs, so you end up with again, like the other guys, a right-hand side column that takes a lot of your content. It's not, you need to use a different plugin or different widget to have commerce. You need to use different widgets to have mailing lists. And then you end up with a lot of clutter. Like every entry has a comment section. Like for some reason, your tour widget had a thing where I could leave a reply. I don't know why I would ever want to leave a reply in a tour widget. You know, these are all things
And it
that...
says you must be logged in to post.
And
a
I must be
comment.
logged in, so I don't feel like I'm part of the family now because I'm not logged in. Tour date? Oh, on the tour date? That's today. It's a big play button. It's 6 o'clock.
See if it pops up for you. Maybe you're logged in.
How do I buy
Mine
tickets?
Well, at least the information is there. The address,
When I clicked
date
it,
and
it just had
time
a pop up.
on the mobile.
Yeah.
But it sent me. But you kicked me out. Like that widget kicked me out of your website. Sent me to
You're on someone
Reverb
else's
Nation.
website right now.
Like I'm like same thing. It's like if you enter a shop, you ask a question, and let's go on the sidewalk. I'll answer your question, and then that's it.
Someone told me what ended up happening is I do a lot of everything on the front page. I add and post, and someone told me more content in Google is good.
Oh yeah.
Use more content, so there's more of an updates. It all ends up being on the home page, and then I kind of neglected.
But let's Google you. See, you have no problem with Google. Don't worry about Google so much. Like there's so much hype about Google for musicians. I think if your band's name was the tables, maybe you'll have problems getting Google ranking. But if you've been doing this for a while and your name is unique, you're gonna be like, don't call your band like the Russian Teenagers or something, like Google. If you're thinking of band name, Google it first. And if you think like, I wouldn't care so much. Like you have a lot of content that's good. It's on your website. That's good. What you need is a simpler layout that's going to be more functional. Like people come to your website for a reason. Either they want to read the latest news. Maybe they want to buy something. Maybe they want to see the tour dates and buy a ticket. Right now, you're kind of sending us in different directions, making us click. I'll pop up new windows, like simplify that, but keep the great content. Oh, I'd have a link here that's called Store, and that keeps me on the website.
And to talk about optimization for Google and YouTube, we're doing a Google Hangout that's a format like this. It's a panel. We did it at South by, and we're doing it again online. I think it's on May 2nd at 1:30 Pacific time. If you want to learn how to optimize your YouTube and Google presence, it'll be with Jack Conti of Pomplamoose, Mike, who manages OKGo, an entertainment lawyer, and then the community manager from YouTube. So if you want to learn more about all that stuff, we'll be talking about that. I think that's next week.
This here. Let me show you a good example of a good store where I go to our website, I click on Store.
Go to our Google Plus page on Bandpage. Just search Bandpage in Google. It'll come up.
Again, I mean, in the last 2 years, I would say, or less, all of these platforms have really blossomed to where it's you might as well start from scratch, and you'll build it quicker and better with these new platforms than with the legacy platforms that maybe you only initiated this last year, but things are rapidly evolving so quickly with band websites.
So I want to congratulate everyone because no one had, as far as I know, no one had auto start music on their website. And usually,
seriously.
Usually when we do this, there's at least a couple where music starts. That's why I plugged in the. Thank you, guys.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for your expertise and for your time. Once again, for our panel, y'all, I know that everybody has a lot of questions, and that's really awesome. We really wanted to stimulate a conversation that would continue, and now it's time for that conversation to continue elsewhere. So thank you all so much for coming. We really appreciate it. We'll see you. We have Sync Up Cinema Monday through Wednesday right here. And we're back with the next Sync Up panels for the entertainment side on Friday morning. So we will see you there, or we'll see you at the Jazz Fest. Thank you all for coming.